Hi, Phil.
Hi,
Hi, Jack. How are you guys?
good, you?
Good.
Very well. Congratulations on a masterpiece.
Oh, thank you.
No, there is many reasons I love this show. Many, many reasons. First of all, let's start with Philip and I wanted to, and I was so happy to speak to the director of this project because I wanted to talk about the one-shot deal.
Hmm.
The whole one-shot is amazing.
Oh,
Like the fact that the choreography, and it's a 50 minutes episode, so it's very, very difficult. It's not half an hour or 20 minutes. No,
mm,
it's and one give the other, who transition from the camera, sometimes stop with the two people, and if
yeah,
one of them goes, sometimes the camera goes with them, sometimes the camera stay with the person.
yeah.
So talk to me about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real challenge to, I never want I never want the camera to be at the forefront of this, it's got to be about story and the performances and the social realism of it. But, to be able to do that, we need to really extensively prep and rehearse. And, it was about, figuring out when we got this scripts from Jack and Stephen, who we should be on at what point. What's the
Mhm.
important, do we need to be listening to somebody at this point and focusing on that person? And sometimes it's about not doing the obvious thing. It's about maybe be on the person who's listening, and
Mhm.
and we can also be listening as they're listening to the person who's talking, if that makes sense, and
Mhm.
things like that. So it was a real process to sort of figure out what are those key moments, and how are we going to, you know there's lots of things that happen. We go through windows, we're in and out of cars, and we fly on
Yeah,
drones,
on top
things
of
like
the
that.
van, the shot on top of the van when it kind of,
Yeah,
and it rests on the van and the van goes, like the continuity of it. That's what I'm saying. It's not just the forefront, because this is something a group work. It's the actors as well.
yeah,
It's very hard on the actors. Some actors know 2 pages a day, but those
yeah,
guys, they have to know the whole thing. They have to hit every single point, high or low,
yeah,
all of the time. Because if one only screw up, the whole episode is screwed up.
yeah,
Like you have to repeat everything from the beginning.
yeah,
Episode three, anyway.
yeah,
Episode three, the episode itself, amazing. The acting is fantastic, and like everything goes on point. I can't wait. I'm so upset that it's only 4 episodes. But Jack, I wanted to talk to you about like the rising of knife crimes in the UK in the last 20 years. It's been crazy, and it's going up. It's not going down. So, why did you guys choose to focus on this point and write it beautifully like this, where we see the point of view of the parents and of the society as well?
I think what we're looking at really is male rage. And I think that's not just specific to the UK. I think that's happening all over the world. And I
True.
think it's happening partly because of the internet, partly because of the ideas that have been propagated by the internet and what social media has done, and the way that social media has an incel culture in particular suggested ideas that make sense to isolated men.
Mhm.
It's also about what's happened socioeconomically, and it's also about what's happened culturally. That our societies as a collective around the world seem to have created this problem of male violence. Not that it didn't exist before. Of course, it did exist before, but it
Mhm.
does seem to be getting worse. We do seem to be at a crisis point, and what this show wanted to do was to look that crisis right in the eyes. And the
I
advantage of
love
the
that.
one shot from a writing perspective was it what we didn't have to do was tell a complete story.
Mhm.
What we had to do is give 4 glances, which together hopefully provokes a conversation. Those glances are all truthful. They're all 4 separate films in lots of ways, and they all should
Mhm.
work as 4 separate films. And if you watch them in isolation, I hope that they would work in isolation, but they don't add up to a complete story. They add
Mhm.
up to a sort of like, okay, this is one angle on this, and we're not going to give you the full angle, which then provokes the audience to start talking amongst themselves and creates a conversation that hopefully will have an impact.
No, it definitely is fantastic. It's on the right timing as well for everybody, for all the young generation. At least back in the days, There we all get the information from one source, but now with the internet, there's plenty of sources. Everybody has his own cult. Everybody has his own game, his own stuff. So for something to make us look at society and technology and look at the young generation, which are the future, it was fantastic. I think you guys did a great job. I love the show, like in every way possible. I cannot wait for the people to see it's a masterpiece for sure.
Thank you so much.